Hello, everyone. I am so excited to be here. I really am. And it's such a small world. Valerie was in my world as one of my clients, and I've actually served Joseph and his community. I think it was 2022. It's been a couple years, but it's just, and I know Terrell, it's so nice to come back home to a community that you just love. So I'm just so grateful and honored to be here today. And we're going to talk about confidence today. So I just want to make sure everyone's here. Engagement is really key. We are going to get out of our comfort zone because everything we want is on the other side of our comfort zone. If you all are ready to rock and roll, get out of your comfort zone, walk away with some ahas, walk away with some breakthroughs, write a yes. I want to make sure everyone's here, everyone's laser focused. Turn your phones on do not disturb and really commit yourself to going all in on yourself in this next hour. So I just want to make sure we're all on board, and I'd love to see a yes. Like, yes, I'm here. Yes, I'm committed. Yes, I'm fully present for myself and I am ready to rock and roll. Okay, I feed off of audience engagement. So we're going to do this together. Okay, I'm not talking to myself. We're going to be kind of conversing in a community using the chat feature. So thank you again for inviting me to this amazing community. And a little bit about me and kind of who I am, what I do. I'm Karishma. I reside in Dallas currently, and I have coached over 120 investors directly in the last 4 years of my business. In my own community, I've coached thousands of others in other people's communities, other groups, my own Facebook group, so on and so forth. And in the last 4 years, I've helped a lot of people move into financial freedom and financial abundance and really helping them kind of get out of their own way. And who here recognizes that mindset is a really big component of our journey and stepping into the entrepreneur that we want to be? Write a one in the chat if you're like, yeah, I definitely see the value. And I recognize in my own life how I have, kind of gotten in the way of my own success, of my own traction, of my own limitations. And that's why we're here today. And previous to that, I did a lot of work in the W-2 space with leadership coaching and development. So this is what I'm passionate about. This is what I love to do. My brand is called Live Your Legacy. I'm in this brand with my partner, Ajith, whom hopefully you guys will interact with at some point in the future. And our goal together is to empower investors to get more deals, to get more freedom, financial freedom, while also creating the legacy today. And for me, being the legacy is about being a role model and really using my life to inspire other people, inspire my families. And me being me allows everyone else to get out of their comfort zone and step into their power. Write a yes if like service is a big part of who you are, why you show up in your business, why you want to do the things that you do. Being that legacy, being that role model is a big value that you have in how you show up in your life. Okay, awesome. So thank you. I'm so glad I'm talking to my people. You guys are my people. And it's really about that. Okay. So today, what we're going to do is really kind of help you all step into becoming a more confident, a more empowered version of you. And our objectives today is to really kind of break down the things and really kind of have this introspective journey of, wow, like this is, maybe I've been safe in things that haven't served me in the past. And we're going to talk about kind of what normally holds investors back, holds entrepreneurs back from creating traction in their businesses, and the key to unlocking massive results on the other side. So we're going to have exercises. I recommend everyone have something to write with, to write on, grab a Google Doc, anything, whatever, doesn't matter. Take tons of notes. I will not have a presentation to share. I'd rather talk and interact and engage in this way than spend hours working on slides. I did that in corporate for 15 years, so I definitely enjoy this style more. And really, we're going to, again, interact, and we're going to do breakout rooms in a few minutes to really help you take everything that we're talking about and anchor it in even deeper. So I wanted to share a free gift with all of you. And what we put together was what we call our 7-figure confidence secrets. Who wants that? Just a way, like, kind of, I'm taking everything that I'm going to talk about today. You don't have to worry about reviewing it right now. Review it later. But what I'm going to do is really kind of go into what it takes to embody that confidence so you can hit those seven-figure goals in your business. And what's really cool is I put this together with my partner Ajit, who's a multifamily investor. And this is just as relevant in my coaching business, in single family investment, in multifamily investment, in any kind of entrepreneurship. So everyone take a moment. I'm going to share this link with Joseph and Valerie at the end of the presentation. They have this as well. So be sure to grab your seven-figure confidence guide and just take a moment and just grab that for yourself. And I'll give you guys just a moment to just get that and ensure that you put in your information so we can ensure that we're able to send that to you in the next few minutes. And I'm just gonna give everyone a couple of seconds to do that. Your seven-figure confidence guide. And we're gonna rock and roll in just a moment. And I want everyone to just take a moment and just think about what you find safety in. What you find safety in. And everyone just take a moment to reflect, wow, like I feel more safe when I have what? Or I feel more safe when, and there's a word I'm using, the word safety. I feel more safe when what happens, when I have what? What makes me feel safe? And just noticing like almost that attachment we have to that thing that creates safety in us. And once you've downloaded that seven-figure confidence booster, I want you to grab that notebook, grab that journal, grab that Google Doc, and write down for yourself. Not yet, David. Thank you for being so excited. I'm going to have you interact with us in just a moment. I want you to write down 3 things that you find safety in.
Do we have to write down in the chat, Karishma, or?
You know what? Let's do it this way. We're going to skip the first breakout room. We're going to do it the second breakout in a moment. Let's do it here in the chat, just for the purpose of time. I want to make sure I honor everybody's time. Everyone put in the chat a couple of things, 2 to 3 things that you find safety in. And like maybe the one that kind of screams out to you the most. Like, I'd love to see a couple of reactions. So there's quite a number of people here. I want to just get a gauge for the responses and kind of see where we are. Okay, cool. So people we trust, bank account, David, amazing. Family, home, okay, awesome. Religion, extra cash flow, and just be really honest. Like we're not judging anything. We're just first things that come to mind: family, finances, books, home, house, roof overhead, travel, awesome. Control. I love this. You guys are awesome. You guys are right on the same page. Cash in the bank account, knowledge, right? I feel safe when I know what I'm doing. I have the ability to do what I'm doing. Beautiful. Freedom, adventure. Okay, awesome. And I want everyone to just take a second, reflect on your list, looking at your list now, and just taking a moment to notice like the level of kind of attachment sometimes we have to those things that keep us safe. Safety. Safety. And maybe even recognizing in your list that there's some things that keep you safe, but you can also see how that very thing that keeps you safe could also keep you stuck, can also prevent traction, can also prevent you moving forward. And my intention today is to help all of you break out of your comfort zone. You may not agree with everything that I'm saying here, and that's okay. But let's really take a commitment to be open and just kind of explore. And a lot of this journey in this next, 45 minutes to an hour is about exploring within who you are. And just recognize, and put in the chat if you recognize what specifically have you found safety in that perhaps doesn't serve you. And just notice how the list that you have, most of our lists, is something outside of us. I feel safe when I have a house. I feel safe when I have a partner. I feel safe when I have money in the bank account. I feel safe when my children are okay. I feel safe when fill in the blank happens. Is everyone with me? Do you see on some level the things that we create, find safety in, first of all, is outside of us. And then there's almost devastation when that thing goes away. Write a yes if you're following me. Can everyone see that? Or if safety is, I need to have X amount of education, X amount of knowledge, whatever that looks like for you, that could be the very thing that may prevent you from taking the next step into your business. Yes? Okay, awesome, cool. So I want to make sure you guys are with me. This is really, really important. And I wanted to kind of break down, why is it that? Why is it that? Why is it that we've constructed this notion of quote unquote safety in something outside of us? And I want us to go back to being a young child, being a young child, and what kind of rules we had to be safe, kind of rules in order to even fit into society. What are the rules that we all complied with on some level that kept us safe? Who here, write a one in the chat if you've heard of Maslow's hierarchy. And put in the chat if you know that, without Googling it, just if you know off the top of your head, the most basic human need is what? The most basic human need is what? Basic human need. You nailed it, David, right? David Small. Okay, so like that need for physiological needs to be met, right? So if you don't have food, if you're super cold, you're super hot, right? Physically, you're gonna be focused on is, or if you're starving, you're gonna be focused on how do I feel my feed my belly. Yes. So the first most basic need is physiological needs, but the next need. So assuming that our physiological need is met, what's the next step up? And let's just think about it. Okay, my physical needs are met, but I need to have what? It's about psychological needs or a sense of security in belonging. Is everyone with me? Yes? Belonging, acceptance. And and human beings are such emotional creatures. Think of a child, if you ever have had a child, or I'm sure everyone has seen a child. You know, babies are so attuned. Their eyes are wide open and they're constantly studying the room, right? And by the time a baby becomes a toddler, they're taking in all the things around them. And under the age of 7, by the age of 7, we form 90% of our beliefs, 90% of our ideas, 90% of our values from what? From everything around us. So those deep rooted values that we have and opinions that we have, what does it look like to be abundant? What does it look like to have money? What does it look like to not have money? What does it look like to be in a relationship? All these things are deeply rooted from our society, from our culture, from our parents, from our household, from our upbringing. And so even this notion of safety comes from outside of us. And you could have two children, completely different, and they'll come in based on their upbringing, based on, of course, there's that nature nurture argument, but you could have twins, put them in a completely different environment, and they're going to be raised completely different, and they're probably going to have different value system in the world. Why? Because of that conditioning. And I'm going to use that word conditioning quite a bit in the next few minutes. Is everyone with me? Write a yes. Okay, so these notions of safety, and again, as human beings, assuming our physical needs, our physiological needs are met, there is a deep, deep rooted desire and need to have approval, to have belonging in society. And I want everyone to just think about, as a child, if you're a boy or if you're a girl, to write down what it meant to be a good boy or a good girl. Write it right in the chat. A good girl is what? For you, you were expected to be a good boy or a good girl. What were some of the rules that you followed in your household? I had to be what to be good or obey. Beautiful. Let's see. Obedience, compliance. What else? Kind, perfect, quiet, beautiful. I love the vulnerability and the honesty, not get in trouble. So it had to like meet this box of what trouble meant and not being in that box, or being in this box of not being in trouble. Helpful, beautiful, politeful, respectful. Look at what we did and how we were groomed to be compliant or obedient or serving everybody else outside of us to be safe. Write a yes if you're starting to get an aha with where I'm going here. No wonder so many of us entrepreneurs have a hard time honoring our own needs, because we have been conditioned from the time we were very, very little to follow somebody else's rules. I'm not arguing good or bad, negative or positive. I'm just saying generally, as a child, we had to fit in this box to receive love, belonging, acceptance from our parents. Yes? Cool. Exactly. And not only that, now we go to school and now you have to raise your hand. I have to go use the restroom. May I have permission? I want to talk. May I have permission? So, as a very young child, we start that conditioning really early of asking for permission to honor our needs, to speak up, to be vocal, to be who we are. And then fast forward, and now we're older and we go into our W-2 roles, we go into our W-2 worlds. And now we come into our environments, which most of us have gone through or maybe going through in the W-2 world or life. Now I want everyone to put in the chat, what is a good W-2 worker? To have your job, you must be or do what? Deliver results, have a work ethic, be compliant, get the task done, perform task no matter what, so the job gets done without asking you how you feel, how you are. Judith, I love what you said, be a workaholic. Do you see how can everyone see how ingrained this is in our conditioning from the time we are young children into adulthood of following somebody else's rules and being compliant in a box to belong? And now if we're not compliant in the box, we're not safe because now the external thing that we found safety in, the paycheck goes away because I'm not compliant. And now I'm devastated. Write a 1 in the chat if you're following me. Holy crap. I've been conditioned my entire life to stay in my lane, to stay in my box. I know that entrepreneurship is about being uncomfortable. No wonder I'm having such a hard time taking that leap of faith into what I need to do in my business. So being a successful, quote unquote, successful entrepreneur is about defying the very things that you have been conditioned to be or do your entire life. No wonder we have a hard time. And just write like a 2 in the chat if you're starting to get like a breakthrough. Like maybe I've been, and I call it like shitting on myself. I should know better. I should know better. I should know better. But now you're starting to see, no wonder I couldn't. Oh my God. I'm competing with 40 years of conditioning in my journey. No wonder I'm having a hard time. And now we get to like start having the compassion for ourselves of no wonder I'm having a hard time staying comfortable, staying in my comfort zone, staying in my lane. And now I want everyone to take a second and write down in your chat, not write down in your journal, not in the chat, one thing that you know that you should be doing in your business. Every one of you knows what you should be doing. Write down one thing that you know for yourself that you should be doing in your business. And you haven't. And then coming back to yourself, what is the internal reason? Internal is something that's happening here between your 2 ears, right? Something in here that's holding you back. Why haven't you? And usually it starts with that big fat F word, fear. I'm keeping it PG, okay? That fear word. And write down for yourself why you haven't. No shooting on yourself. I should. Nope. We're simply acknowledging we haven't, and we think it's because I'm afraid of what, or because I don't believe what, or because fill in the blank what. Something internal that applies to what I believe, something that I know that is kind of holding me back. And I feel like the difference is empowerment is taking our own power, and our power comes from I am holding me back. So if I'm holding me back, I also get to set myself free. Okay. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take that list, and we're gonna have breakout rooms in just a moment. I think Nisha's gonna help me. And what we're going to do is we're going to spend literally 3 minutes together. It's going to be really quick. Okay. Maybe 2.5 minutes together. And then we're going to have partners of two. And if I'm partner A, I'm just going to read out, I know that in my multifamily business, I should be doing X, but I haven't done it because of Y. We're simply just acknowledging what we're doing or not doing and why we think we're not. And we're just putting it out there. And then the other partner's job isn't to coach, isn't to judge. We're not coaching, we're not judging. We're simply listening and we're recognizing, wow, I may have something in common with this person. Because my intention with this is, a lot of us do networking, a lot of us talk. Obviously, this is not a conversation that we normally have in a networking, talk, but it's about like pushing yourself out of your comfort zone to put yourself forth in a way that you may not have before. Is everyone up for the challenge? All right, Nisha, we're going to come back exactly 2.5, let's say 2.5 minutes, groups of two. We're going to go in partners and we're simply just sharing. I know I should be doing X and I don't think I have because of Y, because I think I'm afraid of fill in the blank, because I'm holding myself back because of this belief that I should blah, blah, blah. Okay. So whenever you're ready, Nisha, we'll do the breakout rooms. We're going to come back.
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, let's do it. We'll come back here in just 2.5 minutes or so. Everyone, how is that? How is that? Nerve-wracking. I can't believe this woman. Who is she? Man, I don't want to talk about this stuff with anybody. And here she is making us talk and spill our beans. Okay. Okay, cool. All right. And it's so crazy. Who found that their partner had some of the same stuff that they have? Write a yes. Like there was a little bit of or the same things that you have things in common, the real things, the things inside, the same kind of issues that are holding you back. Yes, amazing, right? I mean, I get scared too. Okay, and I'm a success coach. I've been doing this for a while, and I had my first in-person networking event where I spoke actually a similar topic on Friday. I haven't done an in-person event. I used to do coaching and presentations in my corporate world. That was like 5 years ago. I've never done this that I'm doing in my business now in front of a live audience. My business started right during COVID. And I walked in that room like, oh my God, what am I doing? And like the technology wouldn't work. And I had a moment. I was like, okay, come on, you can do this. And I had to get myself back. And so I'm human too, like everyone else here. And every time I come into a new group, there's a part of me that's like, okay, I think I can do this. And just really having that little bit of angst, that little bit of butterflies. Isn't it amazing and freeing to share the real you, to share the real you? And also it's so nice to kind of put yourself out there in an environment without judgment, isn't it? You know that someone's not going to coach you. Someone's not going to judge you. They're not going to try to fix you. They're simply hearing you. You get to hear them and you get to just take that relationship to the next level of depth. And that's what makes it beautiful. And I hope you found, that helpful for yourself, first and foremost. And then to know that there's like so much freedom in sharing the real you with somebody else. And, in the last 4 years, I have talked to over, and I'm not making up this number, 500 investors directly. I've had over 500 sales calls, 500 talks with investors, 500 plus. And I sat down one day and I was kind of putting together all the data, kind of like, what is it? Why is it that we hold ourselves back? And it was so interesting because I belong to a mastermind for my business. And I went to a mastermind call the other day and I had a presentation similar to this the other day. And I'm literally before my own presentation doing this topic. I'm at this mastermind with other coaches. And I want everyone to just guess the number. So there was a strategy that was taught to us back in November. And here we are, early February. How many people, what percentage of the people that showed up on the call do you think actually did this strategy and executed on the strategy? I'm not talking about results in the strategy. I'm just talking about sheer execution. Guess that number in the chat. Everyone should be guessing. I would say around the 10% mark. And how many of us, we have the rule book, we have the strategy, or even if the strategy is not perfect, and we know we should be fill in the blank. Networking, marketing, something, right? Talking about your business. And we simply haven't. It was almost the exact same kind of mental roadblocks. I'm going to summarize these in just a moment. So I'm going to have you write them down for yourself. And I'm going to ask you in a second, does one of these apply to you? Does both of these apply to you? Or do all three apply to you? Okay. And again, without judgment, we're just simply doing our own kind of self-analysis. Number one, kind of the blocks, the reasons why we hold ourselves back from creating massive results. Number one, the biggest thing is mindset. Mindset. And I'm going to go even deeper into mindset. I'm going to say even deeper, lack of clarity. Okay, so I'm kind of under the mindset bucket. I'm going to identify a few things. So I would say mindset includes like lack of clarity. It includes all those fears, fear of the unknown, fear of failing, fear of messing up, fear of doing something wrong, fear of our success, fear of failure. So mindset is the number one bucket. Number two is strategy. You simply don't know what to do, right? I think everyone has come into the journey. Either they've heard of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, or they've read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And now everyone's in the business, all reading the same book, but they don't actually know the how to get the deal, to make it happen. So number one was mindset. Number two is strategy. And number three is the activities are not focused on selling. And this may trigger a lot of you, and I'm okay with that. So unless we're out there and we're actually focused on getting the deal, getting the partners, and actually putting ourselves intentionally and saying, I am doing the action that will get me the results, get me the partners, get me the deals, solidify it, put it into a contract, fill in the blank. The actions are not focused on selling. So I want everyone to kind of look at that list. Number one, mindset. Number two, strategy. Number three, the actions are not focused on selling or the results, the actual results that are going to bring the deals into your bank account. How many of those apply to you? Is it one of three, two of three, or three of three? And I'm going to say, and I really encourage everyone to stay with me till the end because this is so important. Okay, I call it sales mindset. Sales mindset is so important. Sales mindset is, oh my God, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a salesperson. Does everyone see that? Does everyone know that on some level? And in order for us to really move into result zone, we have to be able to like combat and let go of all the limiting beliefs on what it looks like to sell and to own your net worth, to own your value and your worth, and more importantly, to bring that safety back to you. Safety back to you. Safety in what? Safety in me. That no matter what I've got me, no matter what I believe in me, no matter what I value me, and I'm going to go even deeper. And what's really crazy is, last month I did a bunch of workshops and I talked a lot about sales mindset. I talked a lot about what it looks like to move the needle in your business. And I want everyone to think about like the number one people that are closers, okay? Closers of real estate investment transactions, closers of sales, closers of results. What do you think is the number one factor, the number one quality in an amazing closer and an amazing salesperson? What do you think is that number one quality? It's more than coffee. I would definitely win every single time. I can handle a lot of coffee. All right, let me see if I actually see it. Okay, some of you have nailed it. It's confidence and certainty. Confidence and certainty. And this is everything. This is everything. If I know, and I really want you to think of your list, okay? So my certainty comes from whom? Trick question, everyone. My certainty should come from whom? Myself. But if I'm looking to you for you to gauge, like, okay, are they going to like me? Are they going to approve of me? What are they going to think about me? Do you see that that's the opposite of our own inner certainty? And I'm going to give you a couple of examples. One example, and this one, like, ooh, and I'm sure some of you guys can relate to this. I had a workshop last month and I was talking about sales mindset and I was talking about networking. And I told everybody, look, at the end of this, I'm going to sell you. Because in my worldview, and I had to learn this the hard way, I was not open to selling. I'd never sold Girl Scout cookies in my life. I'm telling you all honest truth. And the last 4 years of my business, I've surpassed over 7 figures in sales. Why? Because I had to own who I was. I had to create a new sales mindset. And for me, in my mind today, selling equals serving. Selling equals serving. And I told my clients, look, at the end of this workshop, I'm going to sell you. I'm gonna put out an offer. I'm gonna try to sell you because I know selling equals serving, and I can't help you with the results if I'm not open to sharing and selling to you. And I had a client that he came to, it was a 3-day workshop. He came to day 2 only. Day 1, he was working. He couldn't get out of work. Day 2, he showed up and we had a lot of breakouts. We had a lot of practicing our networking pitch. We had a lot of practicing what we were talking about, practicing that new sales mindset. And he didn't come to day 3. And I asked him, why didn't you come to day 3? And everyone put in the chat what you think it is. Why don't you think he came to day 3? And ask yourself, how many opportunities have you had where you didn't show up? So he was afraid of me selling to him. He told me, Karishma, I was afraid you'd sell to me, as he got on a sales call, mind you. And in fact, he was the first guy that signed up for a sales call. I'm not making this up. Can't make this up. So he signs up for a sales call. He doesn't come to day 3 of the workshop that he paid for because he was afraid of being sold to. And we're doing breakout rooms in there with intentional marketing, networking, intentional networking. And I said, did you know that we were going to have breakout rooms for networking? And he said, yes. And I said, do you think you have something that people need in the business? He's a construction guy, for the record. And he said, yes. And I said, so now you made it about me and you didn't show up to day 3 because of me. What if the person on the other side of the networking had the very thing that you need to move the needle in your business? And what if you had the very thing that the other person needed in their business? How many opportunities have you said no to simply because you haven't shown up? And my intention is to help you be so empowered in you, where you have that certainty inside of you that you don't need anyone or anything to deter you moving forward. And what it's about is when you're that confident and you're that certain in who you are, which most of us weren't cultivated to be that, because holy crap, we spent our entire life thinking something outside of us was safe. I was safe in my marriage. I'm divorced now. I was safe in my W-2. I was very comfortable for a really long time. And everything that I wanted was outside of my comfort zone. And thank goodness, my life has been kind of crazy and it's rocked my world many, many times. Life has rocked me upside down many, many times. And it's taught me how to have my own certainty in myself. And it boils down to 4 things. And I'm going to break them down. I'm going to go through them a little bit quickly. And I really want to share something with you. 4 C's. First C, clarity. Clarity in who you are and where you came from. Clarity. Clarity in, number 1 is clarity who you are, where you came from. So I'm going to give you a very specific example. I have a client who's a football coach. And he's a multifamily investor. And he's like, Karishma, how the heck do I take what I do? I'm a full-time football coach and I do multifamily investment on the side. How do I take that? Who's going to work with me because I'm a football coach? And a lot of our work was, Let's help you, your network, you being a football coach, you being a controller, you being an insurance broker, you being a hairdresser, fill in the blank with what you've done. It doesn't matter. Why you being that very thing is an asset to your partnership and to your network. Clarity in who you are and where you came from. Number two, clarity in what you uniquely bring to the table in a real estate investment deal. So in the marketing world, in the sales world, in the corporate world, you may hear it called unique value proposition. But this is clarity of who you are and what do you specifically bring to the table that is so valuable that as a partner, I absolutely want to work with you. So number one is clarity in who you are, what you bring to the table based on your former experiences, based on your resume, not being something other than you, but you being you. Number two is your unique value and what you bring to the real estate investment deal. I'm going to put these in the chat. Number three is clarity in what you want. I went to a networking event on Saturday and I was just curious. I'm like, okay, how many people are actually pitching me? And you go to a networking event, you go to something like this, you have to have your pitch, y'all. You have to have a clear pitch. Otherwise, you're wasting your time and you're wasting everybody's time. I'd rather you go to less events and get better results than to go to a lot of events and get crappy results, okay? Because we don't have time like that to waste. Three is clarity in what you want, okay? What am I looking for? What do I want? What do I want from this partnership, this relationship? And four is the most important thing, certainty. Certainty in yourself, safety in yourself, confidence in yourself. Is everyone with me? I'm going to pause for a moment. Is everyone with me? Do you see? These are my 4 C's, and this is everything. Because who here feels that if I have clarity in who I am and what I bring to the table in a real estate investment deal, I will get better results? Who truly believes that? Write a yes. And now you need to go to less events because holy crap, you get better traction. And my partner, Ajit, is incredible with this. This is the reason we're in this business together. We're talking about this so passionately because what Ajit is the king of is what I call attraction marketing. He builds relationships in this way using this formula. We work together to come up with this formula. And what happens is he's been doing real estate investment for 7 years full time. Partners from 3 or 4 years ago are still calling him and still calling him and saying, hey, I've got a thing, because now it's not just about networking the old way. It's about networking in a way that makes you memorable. And if I know who I am and I know that I'm valuable, if I know that I have what it takes to make it in my business, I know that what I have to offer is extremely valuable in a real estate investment transaction, in a partnership, will I be more consistent or less consistent? Everyone, more or less consistent? If I have the 4 C's down, will I be more consistent or less consistent? Everyone, más, bueno, okay. And if I have more certainty, if I know who I am, is this year going to be full of excuses or is this year going to be full of traction? Excuses or traction? And if I have my own certainty and my own safety, do I need anyone outside of me to validate me, or am I enough being me? Do I need validation from the world? Yes or no? I'm enough. So who wants that? Who wants that? And you know what? Let's pretend for a second it's February 9th, 2024. It's about making a commitment to yourself. It's not about what happened in January. It's not about what happened 2024, 2023. It's not about the old story. It's about traction. And I can tell you right now, I mean, literally having gone to a networking event on Saturday, I was like, I must have talked to at least 10 people in an hour. And I shared what I do. And I can't honestly tell you, I can't honestly tell you one person that I remembered of like, oh my God, that person sounds so remarkable. I love what they do and how they show up in the business. And do you all see how everybody and their mother is becoming an entrepreneur? Facts. Okay. In real estate investment, I feel like the barrier to entry is minimal. And I will answer questions at the end. So now we have to do something that allows us to be unstoppable, allows us to be memorable, and for us to be willing to do something different to hone in our own certainty so we get massive results. So would it be okay for you all, with you all, if I shared something with you to help you get that certainty? And this is what is so powerful. And this is why I do what I do in my business, because for me, I can tell you right now, in all the years, I wanted to be an entrepreneur. And I didn't believe in myself. Being completely open. Being completely open. And I had a crappy sales mindset for a long time. My first coach told me, if you order to be a coach, it's not about the coaching, it's to be able to sell people. And I was like, oh, heck no, that's not me. You must be from, I'm going to go back to my safe W-2 because I don't need to do that. And the truth is, I was doing it for somebody else, and that was okay. I was literally coaching and talking about everything and serving my W-2 world. But when it came to sales, I was like, absolutely not. And I was making somebody else really rich and learning how to do life differently, do business differently, and own my power, own who I was, own my potential changed everything for me. I'm going to share with you all what we're doing. And let me just open my screen here. And what we're doing is we're sharing an opportunity to basically help you create the same thing. And what we're talking about is that clarity that you need in networking and that confidence within you that is a must in order to be unstoppable. And I'm dropping the link in the chat here. And let me kind of talk about what it is exactly. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be spending 3 days in February for a workshop called the Unstoppable Investor. And I live in Dallas. Lunchtime for me is 12 o'clock. And we've intentionally picked it at lunchtime for an hour and a half each of 3 days, Wednesday, Thursday, and Wednesday, 21st, 22nd, 28th. And all 3 days, we're going to spend 12 to 1:30 p.m. Central on Zoom. It is virtual. You don't have to go anywhere. Just have to block off the time and try your best to make it in person. Of course, there will be replays. They will be yours for the rest of your life. But let me talk about what specifically we're doing in the workshop. Number one, we're going to help you uncover that clarity and certainty in who you are and what you want. So I gave you all the example of Phil. Football coach Phil came to me. He's like, Karishma, I don't know how to take my business, what I've done, what my experience is, and put it out there to leverage my superpower. And essentially, I helped him identify his superpower. So we're going to help you identify your superpower, what makes you amazing, and how to craft that beautifully in an elevator pitch. So you walk into every networking meeting and you have a clear, concise pitch where you're showcasing exactly who you are, what makes you memorable, and how your specific experiences make you the best person to work with them for the deal without feeling inauthentic. Thank you, Wade. You took the words right out of my mouth. This is not about you being somebody outside of you. This is not about you comparing yourself to others. This is about, I am Phil, the football coach of another client who's a controller. And it's like, how do I, and he was using being a controller full time as a reason to not put himself out there. And we helped him make being a controller the exact reason why he's a badass multifamily investor. Okay, so we're going to help you get that clarity in your pitch down, and you get to keep this for the rest of your life. You get to keep it, you get to practice it, you get to use it, and you start getting results from it. The second piece is the mindset. And this is where your confidence is everything. In order to be more confident, we have to overcome the fears that have kept us safe in something else. The fears of messing up, the fear of success, the fear of failure, the fear of the unknown, the fear that I don't have what it takes, all this mumbo jumbo crap from our years of conditioning. We're going to help you break it down and annihilate it. It really is that. And I'm going to teach you the tools that I have found to create the most amount of results in my clients. And the whole experience is about massive accountability, because I guarantee you right now, if you show up with somebody else holding you accountable, you will get better results. If you have health goals, if you have accountability, you will get better results. This is working your mind, your emotions, your state, so you can actually get out there and create the traction, so you can create the financial freedom that you truly want. And what we're doing is we're honoring you all. We have a lot of value. We have a lot of respect for our strategic partners. And our price today, for those of you that want to take immediate action, you're like, oh my God, I want this. I need this. I want those replays. I want to keep coming back to them. I know that this $97 will be worth my ROI. I will get more than $97 worth of it back. It's really about making a decision. And what we're doing is we're offering a discount of $97 today. And for the first 10 people, you get to bring a friend for $1. And this is where, as an entrepreneur, as an investor, I go, okay, wow, 97 plus 1 is 98. For $46, is it worth it? Absolutely. If I bring a friend, am I going to be more accountable? Absolutely. Will I find a friend later? Absolutely. But I'm committing to myself, because it's not about me. It's not about them. It's about me. And it's about me taking my power back. It's about me stepping into my authentic power, and me deciding to make every networking opportunity from here on powerful, because now I have more clarity and I have more confidence and I have more certainty in me. And we're giving you a couple of bonuses. So again, we've got the dollar friend bonus, and we're going to give you our free 2-hour Get Things Done workshop. So this is where 2 hours, I teach you how to maximize results, maximize productivity, how to create a calendar where, oh my God, you actually are meeting your goals and you're actually getting things done. So I wanted to pause right there, and the link is in the chat. And I'm going to come back here to the main screen. And who here feels that, you know what, if you actually knew how to do networking in a way that felt authentic, you would actually show up more? Because the biggest reasons that we're not consistent in our business is because it's really hard or painful to do that thing. If we're not consistent in our workouts, it's because there's more pain associated with that thing. Okay. So if I'm like, if somebody's like, okay, eat like only salads and lean chicken, it's actually more painful for me sometimes, honest truth, to eat the salads and the lean chicken, even though I know it will help me. Okay. So we avoid doing things that are painful for us. But I really want everyone to put on their strategic business hats on right now. As real estate investors, think about your why. Think about your goals. Think about what you want for 2024. And I know for me, it's about being the legacy. Being the legacy. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you're waiting for somebody else to give you permission to step into your power, we're going to be waiting the rest of our lives. If you're waiting for somebody else to tell you it's going to be okay, we're going to be waiting the rest of our lives. And what our intention with this presentation is to fundamentally break down what certainty means. Because if I know that my certainty is within me, my safety is within me. Today, I know even if I left my coaching business today and I started some other business that felt aligned to me, I'd be okay. Why? Because I know who I am and I know what value I have to bring. And now every interaction, every networking event, every partnership becomes an opportunity for growth, opportunity for fulfillment, and opportunity for results. And now you get to do what everybody else isn't doing. Or if you're doing it with a friend here, you get to show off because now you're doing something in a way that is aligned to you and helps you get those results. So, any questions about anything that I've talked about? And for me, it's really our gift. And I think Valerie and Joseph have known me for a while. I've never had a program like this. Truth. And we just really want every one of you to be empowered in your hopes and dreams. I live in Dallas, although this will be on Zoom. I don't know if I said that, but I want to be really clear. We're not going to be traveling anywhere. We're going to be doing from our own homes in a way that's flexible. And it's about us giving back in a way that's affordable and that allows everyone else to be empowered in a way that feels really aligned to them and authentic to them. So I'm going to end right there. Happy to answer any questions, anything else. Take it away, Joseph or Valerie. Thank you so much. Appreciate everyone's time. You've been an amazing audience.
Well, this has been great, Karishma. So thank you. I've known Karishma for a long time. She's one of the best success coaches out there. In fact, she was one of the first coaches that we brought on board when we started our coaching program. So that speaks well for Karishma's credentials. I've known her for a long time, and you will be served well at working with her. So take the link is in the chat. So if you want to register for the 3-day workshop, it's a lunch hour workshop, right? Easy as it gets. So take advantage of it. And then, Karishma, this was awesome. And we look forward to having you back at some time in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. My pleasure.
And we will send the link. If anybody missed downloading the ebook or the link, we will send it out with the replay. So look for that to come out sometime later today. So we will send out all the links and everything again. So if you're sitting on the fence, like some of you guys are just need to think, right? But like Karishma said, when something is an awesome deal, take it, right? Don't. It's a very simple decision to make. So again, thanks everybody for joining. Valerie, are you here?
Yeah, I was just going to jump in really quick. Two things. Obviously that was fantastic, Karishma. Always love hearing from you and just how you obviously are super passionate about it and really connect with what you share. So that obviously, gets spread out through the screen and really makes us think inside ourselves. So I really appreciate that. And I teach networking, and so it was so interesting. Like, that's exactly it, trying to be who you are. We're not, at home being a mom and a wife and everything, and then I walk outside and put on my commercial hat. Like, I am who I am 100% of the time. And, being in that confidence, and that is what you do outside and inside your home, like the activities are the same. Who you are is the same. And I feel like that helps instill that authenticity and everything. And so that workshop sounds fantastic because it is. It's the clarity of I'm not over here at work being somebody else and I come home and I'm somebody else. Like at home, I'm a commercial real estate investor. And when I go out, I'm a commercial real estate investor. And my life is what makes me different and authentic and makes me show up at home and at work differently because all of that comes together. So that's my kind of takeaway that I felt, and I love that, like having that message and that clarity inside yourself. So I really appreciate that, kind of how you brought it all together, and I encourage everyone to go as well. And I know Wade had a question. I don't know if it's still valid or anything, but I just wanted to kind of honor the question that popped up. But how do you find clarity in the goals that really matter to you, and then which will propel you to seek your passions? I kind of read that very quickly, but I don't know if you wanted to touch on that really quick. I know we're over time, but since that was a question that was asked. So how do you find clarity in the goals that really matter to you, which will propel you to seek your passions?
That's a great question. And I had to go scroll up to read it because Valerie talks as fast as I do. Okay. How do you find clarity in the goals that really matter to you? So I feel like clarity it's a process. It's a process. It's not like this, and it's really interesting because for me, when I look at my goals and even how like my own journey, and I can only speak about my journey, for me, a lot of my journey, and I think about, people that kind of stay in the business over a long period of time. And when I came into my business 4 years ago, I joined masterminds, I joined communities of other coaches. But when I look at, if how many of them are actually in business today, full time, doing what they do, and they're just as passionate about what they are and what they do, not many of them are in business. Okay. And I feel like that clarity, it's an inner journey, Wade, I would say. And when I started out initially, my goals were very high level. Like it was very surface, right? So when I came into my business, um, all I wanted was a steady paycheck. Okay, I'm be honest. I came from W-2 of 15 years of conditioning of steady paycheck. I was making six figures. So I want to make six figures in my business. And it was a very kind of superficial goal. But what's interesting is entrepreneurship is hard. It's not easy. And it's not for the people that don't have that grit and that clarity. And I feel like, a lot of this is about looking within where it's like, okay, what do I want? And what am I willing to do day after day after day? Because as an entrepreneur, there may be months, especially multifamily, you may go months without closing a deal. And that one deal may be good for the entire year, right? So you have to have even more grit and even more clarity and it comes from within you. So a lot of this journey, Wade, that we're going to take people on is how do we find that clarity? Okay. So there's on day one, and I'm I don't want to go into the weeds of what we're doing, is we're going to help you hone in your superpower. So when I think about my superpower, it's that part of the business that I would do even if I weren't paid for it. Okay. So I show up and I'm doing this. They're not paying me. And I told them, hey, I have a pitch. And I was okay with not even pitching. I'm being completely honest. Why? Because I love what I do. I don't know if it's obvious. You can feel my passion, but I did the same webinar for free on my email list to people in my Facebook group. And I do webinars that don't have a workshop at the end of it. In my entire February, I'm doing a free 21 days of self-love challenge. I'm not getting paid for it. I would do this anyway if even if the dollars weren't attached to it. So a lot of day one is going to be, how do I find the clarity in me and my superpower? Because we're going to leverage that. Because if I am not a left brain person, if you give me spreadsheets, I'm going to throw up and I'm going to like throw in the towel and I'm going to be out of here. If that's what my role in my business was. So making that my superpower, it is not going to work. You guys see that. But connecting with people, helping people get out of their own way, that's what I would do anyway. And it's so crazy. I've been doing it my whole life, way before I became an entrepreneur. It's what I did. I've mentored people. I was the counselor in high school. That was my jam. Every summer I'd go and I'd serve kids for free because it brought me my joy and my fulfillment. Okay. So it's like, how do we take that superpower? Football coach Phil, he's been doing this for 20 years. He didn't just grow up overnight and go, I'm going to be a football coach. There was a passion and a fire that was inside of him. And it's like it forced him to make that his pursuit and passion in serving kids in that way. So we're going to help you get that clarity. And clarity is a journey. But I feel like even one step farther in that journey will help you because, and I'm giving an example, if I go into a networking workshop and I don't know, a networking event, if I can't tell you clearly what value I bring to the table, and I went to a workshop, it was painful. I'm being completely honest. And everybody's walking around, hi, how long have you been here? Right? Cringe. Sorry. I'm just kind of stating facts. I'm very open. That's not authentic. It doesn't feel good. And you might feel good for a moment. Okay, I shook 15 hands. But how many people did I actually connect with? And I feel like as human beings, connection is why a lot of us are here. And those are my people. I want people that are really authentically willing to connect. That's why even that exercise we had was, let's break out of our comfort zone. I'm not going to just share what the color of my, bedroom walls is. I'm going to tell you what I'm afraid of. It's about depth. Because, oh my God, and my partner does this so beautifully, Ajit, and this is why we're doing this together. He'll come to a workshop, and he had 20 years of ulcerative colitis, and he had 20 years of health issues and all these things, and he self-healed his body. So when he goes into networking event, he'll spend an hour talking about what's going on in his life. He'll talk to the person with what's really going on behind closed doors with their lives. And at the last 10 minutes, like, oh, by the way, I have a deal. Do you want in? And now it's about attraction marketing, attraction networking, because nobody cares. Nobody's going to remember, hi, I live in Dallas and I'm a real estate investor. Okay, so what? It's just the way we are. Okay, now we would a world of TikTok videos where everybody's brain, a bandwidth is like 15 seconds. You got to be on it. Okay, you just have to be on it, and that's what we're doing here. So I want to help you break that, doing it the old way and doing it differently. There's a question in the chat about somebody wants to sign up. When you sign up, the first person signs up for the email. That email response will have the dollar coupon code. We're making it really brainless, okay? And the second person will go in and utilize that coupon code for the $1. Okay, so it's just a matter of taking action and signing up, deciding, you know what, I want this. That sounds really cool. I know the way that I'm doing it isn't working. And just be open. What do you have to lose? You might actually love networking. And I'll be honest, I haven't got a networking event in like a year and a half because I had my pitch. I had my clarity. I walked in there. I knew what my goal was. I knew what I was going to say. This stuff isn't just like, okay, let me make this up. I was like, what a cool opportunity I have to practice what I preach every day. Because I know it works for my clients. And it was like right there, boom, right there, boom, right there, boom. And now it was easy and it was effortless. And all it took was one or two, and I got into my flow because I wasn't trying to sell anybody anything. I was just being me. And that's the gift that you get from this. Any other questions? Thank you for the questions. These are great questions.
I didn't see, oh, there we go. Yeah. I didn't see any other questions. I know we're like 15 minutes over. But no, this was amazing. I love it. I shared it to my husband. So we obviously, entrepreneurs, we network all the time. So it's super important to make sure that exactly you're connecting, you're making that impact. So I hope everyone will take advantage of it and share it with others. If you have a team, that would be a fantastic thing to also share to a team. But no, I really appreciate your time, Krishma, staying over.
I'm happy to. I'm so excited. You guys can know how I feel it. I'm like, the next call can wait another few minutes. But it's really that. It's really that. And Valerie, I love what you said about the team. I had a client who was like, I'm trying to bring my kids into this. And can I share the dollar thing with my 20-year-old? And I said, why wouldn't you? What a gift to be able to walk away with clarity in who you are. And what a gift to be able to have tools to like really let go of your deepest fears. They're there at 7, 10, 18, 20. Think of the insecurities we had as teenagers. We all did, But how cool would it be to have some of those tools to really like for you to have for the rest of your life? It's really about that. So that's a great value add, I feel as well, Valerie. I'm bringing it to the team. But either way, thank you all so much. You have been so gracious. And thank you all so much for staying with me, hanging out with me on your precious Friday morning. And I thank you all so much. Joseph, Valerie, it has been my pleasure. You guys have been an incredible, incredible audience. Appreciate your time so much.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Valerie, for, coming here. And, this was a lot of learning lessons here. Every once in a while you need a refresher about your own mindset, right? Because when you're running multiple businesses like I am, or we are all have our different, little hats, different times, we have brokerage business, we have investment business, and most of people can relate, right? So having clarity in your business and what's your top priority, it's a big thing to stay focused. Like I always tell people, fix your mindset, then it makes it easy for us to, teach you how to do your business in real estate also.
It's
So that's where
everything.
we
And
can help,
it's the
but you
same
need to
thing
have
in
a
every
right,
business. Yeah, it's crazy.
yeah, you need to have the right mindset first, right, to have the success,
Yeah.
to have the real breakthroughs.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you
All
so
right.
much.
Thank you,
Appreciate it.
Krishna.
Thank you. Bye.